Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing the labor and delivery vlog. I'm super excited about it because my baby girl is officially here. She turned 1 month old yesterday, and yeah, it took me a whole month to finally get this video together so I can get it uploaded, and I'm super excited. But yeah, I didn't get this up sooner just because I've been just soaking in every moment of my baby girl and also just adjusting to this new chapter in our lives and soaking up a lot of family time. But we're back and I cannot wait to film so much stuff with my little girl and just have these memories to look back on. And yeah, so I'm super excited about that. But the first video I have to get up is the labor and delivery vlog, just because I did film it for you guys and I'm really excited about it. But unfortunately, while we were at the hospital, there was a little bit of a turn of events, and yeah, things got difficult quick. So there were certain portions of the birth that I wasn't able to film due to stress, and you're gonna hear about it right now. So that is why I decided to chat a little bit in this vlog, just because I need to explain some of the birth. Anyways, if you are new here, my name's Lexi. I just gave birth a month ago to my baby girl. She is literally a month old. I cannot believe she's been in this world for an entire month already. But if you are excited to be a part of our journey, please don't forget to subscribe and join my family. Yeah, so anyways, let's get started with the story. I did write down some notes just because I don't want this video to go on and be too long and boring. So yeah, I wrote down the most important things that I need to explain for the vlog, and I'm just gonna kind of insert them in the portions that I skipped. So let's get started. So I started the vlog when I got to the hospital, and you'll see that in a little bit. So yeah, I basically got induced at 41 weeks because baby girl did not want to come on her own, and my doctor did not want to wait until 42 weeks, which was unfortunate because I did think that I was going to have until 42 weeks to deliver and let her come naturally, but my doctor didn't think that that was a good idea. I know that I could have stood my ground and told my doctor what I wanted and advocated for myself, but honestly, for my first baby, I did not want to go against what the doctor is recommending. So I just thought it would be safer to be induced if that is what my doctor is telling me to do. So that's what we did. However, I did do everything in my power to have baby girl come naturally and before my induction date, and she just didn't, and that's just what happened. But it doesn't matter because she's here now. So I do want to explain what happened before my induction since I started the vlog there. I went to be induced on a Monday. However, I started contracting on the Friday before that. So for 3 days, the entire weekend before my induction, I was contracting, super painful. I did lose my mucus plug, if you know what that means. So I consistently all weekend had false hope that I was going to go into labor before my induction. I was convinced this girl was coming naturally regardless. So I did not think I was gonna be induced, but she didn't come. She was playing with her mama, and yeah, so I did have a false alarm, and I went to the hospital Friday night thinking I was in labor, and I was in really early labor, but they told me that could go on for days, and it's possible that she's not coming because I was only half a centimeter dilated, which is literally nothing. So they sent me home, and I was really sad. But the entire weekend I was contracting, I was in pain, I was bouncing on the ball, I was walking, I was curb walking, if you know what that is. So anyways, I tried it all, and I was convinced that I was going to go into labor, but I didn't. So yeah, I wanted to explain that part just because my labor technically didn't start with my induction, because I literally was in early labor all weekend, but she still didn't come. Okay, so when I got to the hospital on Monday, it was 11 a.m. I was scheduled. I got there a little late, so I didn't actually start the induction until 12 p.m. So I changed, I got all settled in, we got our luggages and stuff, and they gave me my COVID test right when I got there at 12, and they also set up my IV, and we got started. She explained the whole process. So we were gonna start off with a dose of, I forgot what the pill is called, but basically this pill that softens the cervix, and that's kind of what they wanted to start with. I would get 4 doses of that pill, and I couldn't get another dose until 4 hours. So basically every 4 hours, they give you another dose of this pill, and you need 4 doses, which is a really long time. So I was already like telling myself to just be very patient, and this is gonna be a long process, just ride it out. So I took the first dose, immediately was already contracting, so immediately got stronger contractions. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We're literally in labor and delivery, guys. I am 1 centimeter and we're being induced, so here we are. We haven't even started the process yet, but I'm about to take, I don't know what the pill's called, but it's basically going to soften the cervix and start the process. So welcome to my labor and delivery vlog. We can't wait to meet our baby girl. That's where she's gonna be. And my placenta is gonna be there. I'm gonna try to film as much as I possibly can, but do not know how bad the pain's gonna get. We'll see what happens. What time is it?
5:50.
Ouch, dude. Ouch, ouch, ouch. My vagina. Ow. Ooh, ow, 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 ow. Hey guys, it is 6 p.m. We are on our 2nd dose. The boy's back. And yeah, we're on our 2nd dose and finally starting to feel some stronger contractions. We need progress. I feel like we're gonna be here a really long time.
I feel like we're gonna be here till Thursday.
It's Monday right now, but yeah, we've been here since like 11 a.m. and I took my first dose at 12, and it's now 5:59. And I take my 3rd dose at 8:30. So that's all of the updates for now. And I'm feeling some pain. I'm only at a 1 centimeter. And we need to get to a 4 for the pitocin.
It's just half of me in the camera.
You're not, you're just the support person.
What do you mean? I mean, that's a 50%.
You're not the main event.
50% is mine.
We have candy, slurps, and I'm allowed to eat until we get the pitocin. We're gonna try some fentanyl later. Just kidding. But no, I'm just kidding. But I might.
It's an option.
It is an option. Morphine is an option. Or you can just do gas, which I think I'm gonna start with just the gas. My leg beat up.
You don't let me hit it though? The gas?
No.
I'm sure like we could share.
No.
But we're gonna be in a room with each other for how long? Can you get it out quick?
I will hit you back with some more updates when we get our 3rd dose.
This is a pretty small room.
Yeah, it is small. I already showed the room actually.
Did you talk to him about our situations?
No, I'm not gonna talk about that.
Why? You should.
Within 30 minutes of taking my COVID test, they came back and told me it was positive, even though I literally was convinced that I did not have COVID. And I explained to them that I was like really sure and certain that I did not have COVID. So would it be possible to retest? I think that that's a false positive. And the nurses said they don't think so, but they'll find out. They came back in the room and they said, you know, the nurse in charge, I think she was called the charge nurse, said no, that I couldn't retest and that I was gonna have to be on isolation, even though I was sure I didn't have COVID. So I was of course really upset because I knew I didn't have COVID and I didn't want to be treated differently when I knew I didn't have COVID. And of course, if I did have COVID, I would want to be super safe and not risk anyone else getting COVID, but I was just so sure that I didn't have COVID. I was so upset, and I didn't want this to affect my experience at all. And so my first question was, just because I felt like I didn't really have many options, was to ask them, you know, how am I going to be treated differently as a COVID patient in isolation? And they explained everything to me. So they basically told me that they wanted to like swab the baby and test her for COVID right when she came out. They wanted to bathe her immediately when she came out, which was like not the plan. And obviously it's best for them to like keep all, I forgot what it's called, but it's really good for them to not be bathed right away. So yeah, I did not want her to get bathed right away. I was really upset about that. And they also told me that they would not want me to take my placenta, which I planned to encapsulate my placenta. And yeah, I was really upset about that. As far as medical advice goes, you can refuse anything, and so it really doesn't make a difference. This is just what they want to do. But I was still upset that I'm telling them I'm negative and showing them and asking to be retested, and they're still telling me they advise to like bathe my baby and swab her right when she enters the world, even though her mom doesn't have COVID. It didn't really make sense to me, and it really upset me. So we kept fighting to be retested, and we kept trying to request to speak to someone who was further up, just because we didn't have COVID, so it didn't make sense why they wouldn't just retest me. So I was basically being encouraged by the nurses to continue to fight for my retest because that's my right, and so that's what I did. While I was contracting, while I was in pain, while it was messy. So this is one of the reasons, and the main reason why I stopped filming the entire thing, because I wasn't able to film since we were like, you know, fighting for this retest while I was in so much pain. My mind was not on vlogging, which was super unfortunate because we went in there super excited to film, and obviously not just film, but just experience our baby's, you know, birth. So from about 12:30 to like 7 p.m., I was just fighting and fighting for this retest. I mean, we spoke to everyone possible, and they were not wanting to retest us. They were not giving us a reason why. They would just say like, this is policy. And we're like, well, what's policy? And they wouldn't really explain it to us. And so eventually around 7:38 p.m., I was like, you know, either this whole birth experience is going to be revolved around COVID, or you just have to accept that they're not going to retest you and you're on isolation, and it is what it is. So I asked my nurse to just bring me a document that stated I requested to be retested, and they denied that request and why they're denying it, and we'll just move on from it. And I was willing to accept that, but just bring me a document that stated it. And about 30 minutes to 40 minutes after I asked for that document at about 8 p.m., they came into my room, and I believe my doctor was there for a delivery at this point. And so she came into my room actually herself and said, you know, we're gonna retest you. And that was that. And so I believe it was because I asked for that document that they were just like, whatever, we're just gonna do it. So they did retest me about 12 a.m. And at 12 a.m. I started to have, you know, extreme pain. The contractions were becoming so painful, I couldn't handle it. I literally wanted an epidural at that point, but I wasn't even, I think, 2 centimeters dilated. So it was clearly too soon for an epidural. Plus I went in there with the mindset of not wanting the epidural at all. And obviously at that point I had accepted that I was probably gonna get the epidural, but it was still too early. And the nurse had prior explained to me that I had the option of gas, fentanyl, and morphine. So I was considering those options, and so obviously I wanted to start on like something that was the least strong, which was the gas. So I asked my nurse to bring me the gas, and she's like, well, you're still technically COVID positive, and we don't offer that to COVID patients, so I can't get you that until we have a negative result. So I was like, well, can we check the results? Because I took it a while ago, and they still haven't told me what my results are. And she said, yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go chase the lab guy down. She never came back to my room, and it was shocking because with the first test, they came back to my room to tell me I was positive within 30 minutes. I had now taken my second test, and it's been like, I think 2 hours at this point, and they still would not get me my results. And like I said, the nurse said she was coming right back and never did. So I was super confused why the second test was taking so long, but I was pretty sure it was negative, and that's why. So continued to pretty much beg for my COVID results. Anytime a nurse would enter my room, I would ask for my results. My husband goes to bed at about 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and I was in so much pain, and it was just terrible. But I wanted him to get some sleep because I knew we had a long way ahead of us, and I really needed him to be like well awake later in the day to be able to like help me and be there for me properly. So I wanted him to get some sleep. So he went to sleep while I watched a movie and just relaxed. I tried to sleep, I couldn't, but I did get to relax. I just closed my eyes, was breathing through the contractions to the best of my ability. But honestly, I was losing all of my energy. I felt like I just had no energy left in me to like breathe through these contractions. So like I said, every time a nurse came in, I would beg for my results, but honestly, it felt like the nurses were barely coming in. There was even one point where I had to ask for my next dose of the pill. They didn't just give it to me, and it was just kind of frustrating. So at about 7 a.m., we snapped, and we were like, the nurse that came in for her next shift was like introducing herself, and I didn't snap at her. I knew it wasn't her fault, she wasn't even there. But I just explained to her like what had been going on for all these hours prior and how the first test took 30 minutes, the second is taking almost 8 hours. Why this is so confusing, like please get me my results so that we can move forward with my labor. What's up guys, it's 10 p.m. and literally no progress. Well, some progress, we're like softening but no dilation, just horrible contractions. And we're on the 3rd dose, and we take the 4th dose at like 1 a.m. and no progress with dilating yet. At about 12 a.m. I was explaining to my nurse how bad the contractions were, and she said that because I was having more than 3 contractions in 10 minutes that were super painful, that she couldn't give me my next and last dose of the pill. Because you're not supposed to have that many contractions because you can overstimulate the uterus. So we had to stop the pill until the contractions slowed down, which sucked because that I just knew at that point that like that just made the experience that much longer, because I had to now wait for the contractions to actually slow down to even take the last dose, which was shitty.
I don't know where you learned it, but I'm still sore.
Well, there's lots more with it.
Oh my God.
No. What happened? Oh my God.
Dale left the back door open and raccoons got in.
God.
Nancy, is this your purse in the freezer?
Yes, it's Brennan. He sleepwalks and he always puts my purse in the freezer.
Dale sleepwalks too.
Are you kidding
I'm
me?
not. Look in the oven.
Oh, you're leaving?
What's
Okay.
Couch pillows?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Don't give up on the whole struggle either, because like I'm listening to stuff. You keep going up. Okay, because like you guys are gonna win. You're gonna wear them down.
I know.
Thanks.
They're gonna get tired.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, you guys take care.
You too, thank you.
Guy. Guy.
I'll kill you later, man. Crying like no penis.
You think you have to wind it.
We were so sad you guys couldn't come to the wedding.
I can completely understand.
Oh, yeah.
We're busy fishing with Mark Cuban.
Oh, yeah. Well, not just the cubes, but we had Chris Daughtry, Jeff Probst, Super Chef Bobby Flay. I mean, it was insane. I mean, it was almost too much.
My God, that's
Yeah, we were down in the southern part of the Gulf.
You're trying so hard.
Robert, have you ever been down to the Gulf? It's totally fun. I have a lot more.
Kobe.
Derek, that you do. That you do.
Guilty as charged. It's a story.
You know what that is or no?
You're impressive.
I have to show you that video.
Yeah, I love talking to you. From across the room, I feel like we have a thing.
It's like a hundred. Wait, I can't laugh. Don't leave
Oh,
I've
damn.
heard that
Oh my God, that's
before.
funny.
Yeah, why are you acting so weird?
Oh, hey, by the way, guys.
Look at how he's
my
giggling
girl
at
Brennan.
him. He's giggling so hard. Don't fucking sit down here.
No? You're right about your brother.
That punch me. It was actually
Our pleasure, son.
Are you calling him that?
my kids. I'll check out that stock.
Hi, I'm Alice. I'm Derek's wife. Is it true that you struck Derek in the face and he fell from the tree?
Yeah.
No, I hate my life. I
Yes, it's okay. Alice! Oh, honey, come on! Dane Cook, pay-per-view, 20 minutes. Let's go!
Coming, honey. I'm just.
It's 1 a.m. and we still haven't taken the 4th dose, and I'm already dying.
What brings you to the big city?
Actually, I just inherited $40 billion.
Well, that's nice. I think anything over 30 billion is just great.
Like,
I like that.
Are you hungry?
Your hair is very blonde and pretty.
Oh,
I am hungry, but you don't understand how much pain I'm in.
Really?
Yes.
It's a process to get that
My
gas out of you.
grandfather
You should
was
ask for
in
it.
ABBA.
I have so much
I
to
have
Process
the
that
band.
She doesn't know how to do. She's
Excuse
gonna have to
me?
call someone, and someone's gonna have to come set it up and show her how to use
People
it.
in here?
Famous, rich, powerful.
Okay.
Really? Oh, we don't get any
Wait till
famous
after
people
the
in
fourth
Mandarin
dose
Falls.
to get me.
Actually, Stephen King stopped by our gas station one time, but everybody was too scared to talk to him.
So yeah, the nurse came in at 7. I explained to her what had been happening. I went off that I needed my results now. So she was super nice and apologetic that that was what I was dealing with. And she was just a boss. I really liked her. And she immediately went, got me my results, came back in and was like, they are negative. Which was no surprise to my husband and I because we were confident that we did not have COVID. So I wasn't surprised at all. And so she told me, you know, we're gonna release the isolation and your husband's free to like leave the hospital if he wants to, and you are allowed to have another support person. So at that point I texted my sister and she headed over to the hospital. And also the contractions had slowed down at this point. So we took the last dose of the pill to soften the cervix, and which meant like things were gonna speed along, hopefully. And so I was, you know, just excited to like leave the COVID stuff behind us. So my sister got to the hospital at around 10 a.m. and at that point I had already taken the 4th dose of the pill that softens the cervix, and it had already been almost 4 hours since I took that 4th dose. So we were like pretty much done with that dose and we were gonna start the pitocin, which I knew was gonna cause me so much pain. And so I was like, epidural, please. I was pretty much begging for the epidural at this point. I was in so much pain. And they were like really, really adamant on wanting me to wait till I was 4 centimeters. So the nurse checked me and she was like, you're at a 3.5. right around the corner from receiving the epidural. So I was just literally on the edge of my seat, like praying that I would be at a 4 immediately because it was that painful. And to be honest with you, the contractions were not that painful, but I think what happened was I was having so many contractions for so long because I was induced that's why they became so tiring for me. But I do think if I had a natural labor that I could have handled the contractions even being so painful. Just that many hours of labor was just not it, and I really hope that my next birth will be natural so that I can just not experience that induction again. When my sister got there at 10 a.m., I was at a 4 centimeters dilated, which I was super happy about. And I couldn't even greet her or like talk to her. I was in so much pain. I literally just looked at her and was like, make sure I get the epidural now. And so they asked the nurse for the epidural for me. And the nurse said, you know, I'll put it in with the anesthesiologist. They're in a surgery right now, but they're almost done. As soon as the anesthesiologist was done, he headed to my room. And oh my God, I could not have been more happy to see someone in my life. The pain was so bad at this point. Like literally, I wasn't even scared to get the epidural. I actually was never scared to get the epidural. I was more scared of like back pain later. Also, I was really scared of the catheter, which is crazy. Like, I don't know why I was so scared to have a catheter, but I was. And at this point, I did not care about the catheter. I mean, of course it was in the back of my mind, but barely. I was just like, give me anything to make me feel better in this moment. So yeah, the anesthesiologist was really good, and made me feel really safe and comfortable. He just walked in like a boss and was like, you know, I'm gonna explain to you what we're gonna do while you just sit still and breathe through the contractions. I want you to practice, since you can't move when they put the epidural in, which is really hard because you're in a lot of pain. He was just like, I want you to practice sitting still through a contraction while I explain to you what's gonna happen. And so honestly, I didn't struggle at all sitting still like people say, just because I felt like the entire time I was in the hospital, I was sitting still through my contractions anyways, because I would just breathe and just like let my body float with my eyes closed. So I was not nervous about sitting still anyways. But yeah, we, you know, practiced that while he explained to me how the epidural works. He had me sit at the edge of the bed, he put the epidural in, and yeah, it was not painful whatsoever. I did not even feel it, and it worked almost immediately, and I was super relieved. Granted, I did feel really weird about the epidural just because I knew what was, even though I couldn't feel anything, I knew I had this like thing in my back, and I was so scared that like I would rub against it or like something would happen, even though I asked the nurse 100 times and she was like, no, you're fine. And yeah, that was like in my head, but I don't know, I felt like crazy about just something being in my back, and I kept thinking about it, but that passed very quickly and I felt great. And so yeah, after the epidural, everything was pretty much smooth sailing. I was in a better mood. I was still really tired from like all the stuff I had dealt with and all the contractions from hours prior. But other than that, I just felt great. My sister and my husband would take turns like feeding me ice chips, and you know, we were like chatting, and after maybe like an hour or two, I decided to take a nap. So yeah, after the epidural, they also started the pitocin, which was amazing and perfect timing because I wasn't able to feel anything. From like 12 p.m. to like 6 p.m. I was like off and on napping, and honestly I got really good sleep in after the epidural. I was so tired, and yeah, it was really easy for me to just knock out. And at about 6 p.m. I was dilated to a 7 centimeters, and so I was super excited about that because that meant like things were really moving along and I was probably gonna have this baby tonight, which I was so terrified that I got the epidural too early, and that by the time that I had her, it would be like Wednesday morning and I would feel everything. But luckily I was at a 7, and so I was pretty confident I was gonna have her that night. Not long after that, I started to feel my contractions, and I was just terrified. As soon as I felt just a little bit of the contractions, I was like, oh my god, like I started shaking. I was like, I'm going to feel everything. This is horrible. I'm only at a 7. I have hours to go. I am going to be miserable. I'm gonna die. Like I just started to think crazy, and the first thing that came out of my mouth when the nurse entered my room was like, am I able to get more of the epidural? And she's like, yeah, we can top it off. And I was like, no way. So prior to that, I have never heard of a top off or that you could get more of the epidural. And anytime I watched any labor and delivery videos or asked around, just to like prepare myself for mine, I had never been told about that. Like I just thought once the epidural wears off, you feel everything, because that's what I had seen prior. So when she said yes, I was shocked and so happy and relieved, and I just felt like, okay, I can do this and I'm gonna make it through. And so she requested the top off, and so I felt great. However, when the epidural started to wear off, it wore off quickly. So like my feet were still numb and all of that, but I could feel the contractions very strong, which made me sick to my stomach immediately, and I started to puke, and that freaked me out. And so I was just not feeling great, and I also got a fever almost immediately. So when she checked my temperature, I think I was at like a 101. So she had to give me Tylenol, and she was like a little concerned. They wanted me to like take my blankets off to cool down and put like a cold rag on my head, and I was chewing on ice chips. But as soon as they topped off my epidural, you know, my body regulated and I was feeling okay again. What's up guys? We're just out here in the hospital. Lexi got the epidural because we could not, or she could not. Make sure to smash that subscribe button.
I can't even do an intro.
I'm so done.
I'm messing this vlog.
We're like 2 hours away from meeting you, baby Aya.
Maybe not. Don't say 2 hours. It might be right now.
2 hours max.
You're 7 centimeters lost. She's gonna check me again right now.
7 centimeters. We get checked again in 10 minutes. 7 minutes. We can't wait to meet you. Dad just stepped out. He'll be back in a couple minutes. This is where he's been living the past 24 hours. Super fun stuff.
I'm gonna make one like that for him to sleep on.
Between like 7:15 p.m. The doctor actually called me, my doctor. She was at home, but I guess she like monitors her patients from her house because it's like down the street. So she called me in my room and she said, your baby's heart rate is dropping. I don't want you to be scared. I just want you to know what's going on. We're gonna monitor it for 30 more minutes, but if it does not regulate and I don't like what's happening, we are gonna have to do a C-section, but I don't want to freak you out. I just want you to know what's going on so you're not shocked when I come in. And I was like, okay. So I was initially really shocked to hear that, but I just remember thinking in my head, like, if you freak out, nothing's gonna go smoothly. So just, it is what it is. Whatever you have to do to get this baby here safely, you're gonna do. So don't freak out. It's gonna be okay. And I remember thinking that and immediately just feeling calm, like, yeah, she's gonna get here regardless. So however she has to, it does not matter. So I stayed calm. My sister continued to feed me ice chips. My husband was like pretty freaked out about that, but I think he was just trying to like keep it together for me. And so he stayed calm through that and didn't show his nerves at all. And yeah, luckily her heart rate was completely fine and it wasn't dropping anymore. And within 30 minutes from when my doctor called me to, I think when the next nurse arrived for her night shift, I started to feel a weird sensation down there. So I felt pressure, but I was confused if I was feeling pressure just because my epidural was still really strong. So I couldn't feel anything. So I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling pressure since I'm completely numb, but I think I feel pressure. So when my nurse got there, she was checking in with me and I was like, you know, they just checked my cervix and told me I was at an 8, but for some reason I feel like some weird need to push, but I don't know if I do. She was like, okay, well, we'll just check you just because better to be safe and whatever. And I loved this nurse's vibe, by the way. She couldn't have arrived at a better time. Like, she just had the best vibes. She was on it, she was quick, she knew what she was doing, and she was like really compassionate and genuine. I loved her. So yeah, she walked in like a boss. She checked my cervix and she's like, you're at a 10 centimeters dilated and I can see her head and feel it and you are ready to start pushing. And I did not expect that, just because even though I did feel that sensation, I didn't know what I was feeling because I was numb. And the other nurse had just checked me before she left and told me I was at an 8. So I was like, there's no way I'm at a 10. But I was, and she's like, you know what? We're gonna do some practice pushes until your doctor gets here. I'm just gonna call her first, let her know that you are ready to push. And while she's on the way, we're gonna do some practice pushes because it could take a really long time for us to like figure out what we're doing. She had my husband and my sister hold my legs up for her while she was at the edge of the bed, basically trying to explain to me how to push. And honestly, I had watched so many videos and like I just really informed myself before going in of what to do and what to expect. Worst case scenario, I just told myself, even if you can't feel anything, push as hard as you can. Get this baby out as fast as you can so that nothing goes wrong, because the longer you take, the more chances of like C-section or just anything going wrong. So yeah, I did exactly that. I closed my eyes and I told myself, just push as hard as you can. Don't think about anything but getting her here. And the faster you push, the faster you can meet her. And that's what I did. I closed my eyes. I did not open them for 1 second of the delivery. And I think I did 2 practice pushes with the my contraction, and she was like, stop, 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 like she's going to come, stop. So I was like, still did not open my eyes. And honestly, I did not think that what she said was like accurate, because I was like, there is no way that I did 2 pushes and she's gonna come out. But of course I still stopped pushing, and maybe 5 minutes later my doctor arrived. So we just held my legs up until she arrived, and I didn't push until she came, and eyes closed the entire time. I was still laughing and joking with my husband and my sister, but I just wouldn't open my eyes because I was scared to see something that would like freak me out. I just stayed in the zone and closed my eyes.
No, breathe. Deep breaths for me. Big deep breaths for me. Big deep breaths. Want some ice? Huh?
Okay, I'm gonna turn the lights.
Okay.
Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, doctor's on her way.
Cool.
Okay, let's see if she can push. And if she can, we're gonna stop and wait. You're not setting up to record, are you?
Yeah.
So we can't record the
Oh, okay. Sorry. When my doctor got there, she said, your baby has a lot of hair, and I asked her what color's her hair, and I think she just laughed. I don't even think she answered me, and she's like, hey, we're gonna do this. And my doctor is so amazing, and yeah, we started pushing, and I think we got her out in like 2 sets of contractions, 6 pushes, and literally it took like maybe 10 minutes, and my baby girl was there. I opened my eyes the second she came out, and I was so in shock. I had such a flood of emotions. It was the craziest feeling. Oh, I just remember staring at her and not even being able to talk. I was just crying, and my husband cut the cord, and you know, they laid her on me, and it was the craziest feeling. And it was the best experience of my life, and yeah, it was amazing. They did not let us film, as you can see in this vlog. They didn't let us film her delivery, which I'm super sad about, and honestly I wish we filmed anyways, but we didn't, and so it is what it is. But I at least have photos of it and some videos to like look back on of it afterwards, and so I'm gonna insert that here. But yeah, my baby girl entered the world at 7 pounds 7 ounces, 19.5 inches long, and it was 8:05 p.m. and yeah, she is literally perfect. And she was not a crier. She did cry when she came out, but she was just super calm, and I was shocked. And she latched on right away, which was also shocking because I've never breastfed, and I was the most nervous about that. She latched on almost immediately within like 20 minutes of me delivering her, and we said a prayer over her, and we just had our moment with her. And yeah, I ate In-N-Out. That was my first meal. I was dying for some In-N-Out, so I got an animal style fry with chopped chilies, a double, well done, toasted with chopped chilies. I got a shake and a Diet Coke. I just went all in, you guys, and it was the best In-N-Out ever because I had not eaten in like over, I think like 36 hours. Oh, that was the best meal ever. And yeah, my baby girl is here now, and we went to the postpartum room not long after that, and yeah, from there, that was pretty much it. We got discharged the next day. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed watching my labor and delivery vlog and listening to my story. I hope I was able to help some of you guys or give you some insight on what to expect for your own birth. But yeah, if you have any questions or I left anything out or you're confused about any part of it, don't hesitate to comment down below or message me on Instagram and reach out. This is pretty much my life now, and I'm super excited about it. It's been amazing. There's obviously difficult parts, but overall it's been so amazing, and I cannot wait to share this journey with you guys. This is my baby girl, and I will be introducing her on my channel soon. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment down below and show some love. Yeah, join our family. We're gonna have so much fun baby content and just content in general. Family vlogs. We have some trips planned soon. All I do now is take care of my baby girl and drink lactation drinks. You gotta get that milk supply up. And honestly, I cannot wait to share with you guys my breastfeeding journey, because I know a lot of moms struggle with breastfeeding, and that was my biggest fear as like a first-time mom, not knowing what the heck I'm doing. I was so scared about milk supply and all of that. So I do have some content planned, because luckily it did work out for us and I was able to find out, you know, what worked and what didn't, and I can't wait to share that with you guys. So anyways, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.